A great surprise shook the global entertainment world. In the middle of camera flashes, glittering lights, and a crowd of invited guests at the most prestigious art event, Paradise Art Night, Kim Taehyung, BTS member known as V, uttered a simple sentence that instantly changed the atmosphere. That statement was not merely a formality, but a moment that made millions of fans worldwide ARMY, unable to hold back tears. How could an international art event designed to showcase world-class works and performances instead turn into an emotional space where the name Jungkook, BTS's maknae, became the center of attention? Was this just a coincidence, or was there a hidden meaning Taehyung intentionally wanted to convey before the global public? This incident happened exactly on a special moment, Jungkook's birthday. While Taehyung was present as an honorary guest at the luxurious art event, he used the stage to slip in a personal message. Calmly yet firmly, Taehyung mentioned Jungkook's name, emphasizing that the day should be dedicated to his fellow member. Immediately, ARMY's reactions around the world exploded. Tears poured, social media was filled with short clips, and Taehyung's brief sentence instantly became a topic of global discussion. Questions arose. Why did Taehyung choose such a moment? Was there a certain symbol he wanted to show the public? The dramatization of the moment was further reinforced by the contrast between the event's setting and the message delivered. Paradise Art Night is an international stage filled with high-value artworks, collectors, artists, curators, and important figures from the global art world. Yet, in that formal and elite space, Taehyung diverted the world's spotlight to remember Jungkook. ARMY considered this not an ordinary act. Some saw it as a deep form of loyalty, while others interpreted it as a more emotional message, as if Taehyung wanted to assert that their togetherness could not be erased, even when distance, schedules, or industry pressures tried to separate them. This event sparked an inevitable wave of speculation. Why did Taehyung choose to mention Jungkook's name in such an official, prestigious atmosphere, instead of in a private forum or a simple social media post? Was this Taehyung's way of resisting a certain narrative that tried to suppress their friendship and emotional bond? Or was it instead a signal that something is happening behind the scenes of South Korea's entertainment industry, which remains undisclosed to the public? ARMY, always keen in reading gestures and words from their idols, surely did not miss this detail. They caught the message as a signal that Taehyung wanted Jungkook to remain the center of attention on a special day. The online world then became a witness to an explosion of emotions. Various platforms were filled with comments, speculations, even real tears shared by fans. "I cried when I heard Taehyung mention Jungkook on that stage," wrote a fan in an international forum. It wasn't just words, it was an acknowledgement that they remain one, even when the world tries to divert. Such sentences show how ARMY interpreted the event as something far bigger than just a birthday greeting. It was a symbol, a sign reflecting an emotional bond difficult to explain with ordinary logic. Even more surprising, this momentum came when the public was craving interactions between BTS members, now rarely seen together for various reasons. Taehyung's presence at the art event already drew media attention, especially with his charming and charismatic appearance. However, the focus completely shifted when he brought Jungkook's name into the narrative. As if the worlds of art, entertainment, and global fandom collided at one point, creating a moment that will be remembered in BTS's history. Did Taehyung realize his words would have such an impact? Or did he intentionally design them to shake millions of fans' hearts? From a critical perspective, we can ask, was this a subtle form of resistance from an artist against the industry dynamics that often restrict their personal space? By mentioning Jungkook's name in such an elite public space, Taehyung seemed to cross the boundaries long created between formal art and personal life. He bridged two worlds, the global entertainment world full of spotlights, and the emotional world of fans who always longed for BTS members' closeness. With just one sentence, he managed to combine both, and the result was an uncontrollable explosion of emotions. Yet, the next, more important question is, what impact will this moment have on their journey ahead? ARMY may see it as a reinforcement of their bond, but many also worry. Will Taehyung's action provoke reactions from certain parties uncomfortable with such closeness resurfacing? Will this open a new chapter in the relationship between BTS members and the industry behind them? Or instead, will it create a new, unnoticed distance? The reality is, the public cannot ignore that such interactions have rarely happened in recent years. So, when Taehyung directly mentioned Jungkook's name at an international event, its emotional value multiplied many times. ARMY, who had long awaited such interactions, could not hold back tears. They read the moment not only as a birthday celebration but as a sign that friendship and emotional bonds remain alive, even when silenced by busyness, distance, and restrictive systems. In the end, the Paradise Art Night incident became a mirror of hidden longing. ARMY's longing to see the emotional intimacy between BTS members, longing for simple togetherness, yet so valuable. Taehyung managed to open that door, even if only briefly. And the biggest question now is, will that door remain open? Or will it be closed again by the complex dynamics of the entertainment industry? Was that brief statement merely a spontaneous gesture, or a sign that something greater is moving behind the scenes? One thing is certain, that moment will not be easily forgotten. The ARMY who cried that night were not simply reacting to a birthday greeting, but because they felt acknowledged, felt given the chance to believe again that the bond between Taehyung and Jungkook is still real. A bond that may not always be visible, but always exists. And perhaps that is the greatest message from this year's Paradise Art Night, that amidst the glitter of art and the power of industry, there is still a small space for honesty, warmth, and tears that cannot be hidden. The massive public reaction to Taehyung's statement at Paradise Art Night created a major dilemma. Was what millions of fans witnessed an authentic moment, or merely part of a narrative deliberately constructed to spark global uproar? How can we be sure that this seemingly simple sentence was not manipulated, cut, or exaggerated by sensation-hungry media? Were ARMY's tears truly born from pure emotion, or were they merely victims of a carefully planned communication strategy? Every viral video clip on TikTok, every photo spread on Twitter, and every article published on YouTube or online forums seemed to race to shape collective perception. But have we ever paused to ask, who first spread the clip, and for what purpose? Can these sources be trusted, or are they just following the flow to gain attention? What if what we see is actually a framing deliberately built to stir mass emotions? This phenomenon teaches that in the digital era, the boundary between reality and fabrication becomes increasingly blurred. Isn't it possible that the event, which seemed so emotional, was merely the result of editing, narrative repetition, or deliberate overinterpretation? If so, then ARMY's tears were not responses to facts, but to neatly wrapped illusions. Is it fair that the emotions of millions are steered only to perpetuate certain agendas unknown to them? Or is this the new reality, where social media is the main stage for perception games? We need to ask further. Why did this moment appear at such a strategic time, namely Jungkook's birthday, which always becomes a global magnet? Did Taehyung truly mention Jungkook spontaneously, or was it a scenario with predicted effects? If true, then who arranged it, who benefits, and who is deliberately allowed to drown in emotions? Was this not merely a celebration, but a social experiment carried out before millions of fans to test loyalty and fandom strength? It is important to realize that not every piece of information on TikTok, YouTube, or Twitter reflects the truth. Don't these platforms have algorithms pushing sensational content to spread faster, regardless of accuracy? Thus, is it not natural to worry that Taehyung's moment mentioning Jungkook is being commodified to harvest clicks, views, and pure economic profit? If so, do ARMY realize they are being made part of a larger industry mechanism, where their emotions are merely fuel for sensationalism? Critical reflection is essential. Do we believe ARMY's tears were purely born from emotional closeness, or were they manipulated by a pre-designed narrative? If the moment was truly real, it reflects a rare emotional honesty. But if it was only an illusion, does that not mean ARMY is being played with in a cruel way? What if the truth they believe is just a shadow, a construction deliberately designed so they remain loyal, bound, and reactive, We must also question why this moment went viral so quickly, as if the whole world had been waiting to witness it. Was it an organic phenomenon, or was there an information distribution network ensuring the message reached every corner of the world? If indeed someone ensured its virality, then who controls it, and for what purpose? Doesn't this raise serious questions about the authenticity of the emotional experience felt by millions of fans? Furthermore, we must dare to ask the hardest question: was what we witnessed fact, or a hoax disguised very subtly? In a world where every video can be edited, every voice manipulated, and every narrative twisted, how can we be sure that what ARMY consumed truly reflected reality? Are we not trapped in a psychological trap where a small moment is exaggerated into legend, while its truth remains fragile? This paradox becomes clearer when realizing that social media is not a neutral space, but a battlefield of perceptions. Can we still distinguish between an artist's honesty on stage and a strategy possibly designed by certain parties? What if Taehyung himself did not realize that every word he said would be twisted, politicized, and exploited for certain purposes? Was Jungkook's silence afterward a sign of true surprise, or part of a larger narrative? This moment opens a wider discussion space. Can fans still be critical, or have they already drowned in uncontrollable emotional waves? If this moment was truly real, then it is a rare emotional gift. But if it was only a construction, then ARMY must realize they have become victims of a cunning perception game. Shouldn't we be more skeptical, cautious, and critical in responding to any information, no matter how touching? These questions must not be ignored. Did we really witness an authentic event, or were we merely watching a grand stage designed to trap our emotions? Can we distinguish between tears born from reality and tears triggered by narrative manipulation? And most importantly, are we ready to accept the reality if everything we believed was merely part of a carefully crafted fabrication? Thus, deep reflection is key. We must dare to question, challenge, and doubt every circulating piece of information. For without a critical stance, we will only become passive spectators in a grand drama that may never have truly happened. Paradise Art Night may have become a symbol of the meeting between art and emotion, but it could also be a symbol of how easily the public is manipulated. And in the end, the question returns to every reader. Are you truly sure this event was real, or do you realize that perhaps all of this is merely a grand game deliberately designed to make you believe?